What's up everyone, my name is Mitch and today I want to talk to you guys about color grading. About a year ago I started working in DaVinci Resolve for my color grading and I never went back to Premiere. Now I want to walk through my process of color grading of what I picked up over the past year and pass it along to you guys. Okay, so now that we have our clip in DaVinci, the first thing that we want to do is open up the Nodes tab. And if you don't have it open, you can go to the top right here where it says Nodes and click on that. And from here, we want to hit Alt-S 5 times and open up 5 nodes. And these 5 nodes are going to be what we use to color grade. And if you don't know what a node is pretty much a layer. And all these layers interconnect with each other to the end product, which is what you see on the video. And each node will affect the node that it goes into, but it will not affect the one that's behind it. So if I do something to this middle node, it won't affect the nodes before it, but it will affect the nodes after it. Pretty simple. So what we want to do now is then label these nodes. And the first node we are going to label white balance. And the second node we are going to label exposure. And the third node we are going to label color space. Fourth node I'm going to label LUT. And the fifth node I'm going to label grade. So these are the 5 nodes that we are going to use for our color grade. And oddly enough, we are going to start our grade with the middle one, color space. So what we want to do is go to the top right over here and hit Open Effects. And from there, we are going to grab the color space transform. And from there, we are going to change our footage from log to Rec 709. So up here in input color space, I am going to change mine to Sony S Gamut since that's what I shot with. Input gamma, I shot on S-Log 2. And then we're going to put the output color space to Rec 709 and the output gamma to Rec 709. Okay, so now we're going to close our FX tab. We're actually going to be moving backwards to exposure to properly expose our image. And so far, looking at these scopes, it actually looks pretty good. I'm just going to give it some contrast and bring down some of the shadows and bring up some of the highlights to kind of stretch it out a little bit. So after we're done with the exposure, we're going to move backwards again to white balance and white balance our image. And sometimes you can grab this eyedropper tool and find something white in the image, but it doesn't work all the time. And this one already looks pretty close to being white balance, so I'm just going to kind of tweak it by eye. Okay. Yeah, okay. That looks pretty good. As long as this looks as white as it can be, then you're good to go. So from here, we're actually going to then move all the way over to the LUT category. And a LUT, if you do not know, stands for lookup table. And it pretty much is a color preset for your clips. And it's a great way to start out a grade or to have it as a base and build on top of it. So we're going to come up here to the top left and click LUTs. And if you don't have any, DaVinci actually comes with some LUTs that you can use, and you can get them all over the internet. People give them away for free and sell them and yada yada. So I actually found one already that I liked for this image, so I'm going to double click on it and then close out the LUTs, and that's looking pretty good. So actually what I want to do is maybe bring it down just a little bit. So I'm going to come down here and go to the key section and down to key output where it says gain and drag this number down just a little bit. I'm going to drag it down to about 0.8, and that's just decreasing the intensity of the LUT. And some of them you won't need much intensity, and some of them you can use it all and it still looks good. On this one, I think 0.8 is pretty good, around there. So from there, we're going to move on to the last node, which is grade. And from there, we're going to make our way to the color wheels, and this is where we can get really creative and really hone in our look. So I'm going to start off with the lift, gamma, gain, and offset, contrast, and all that, and really hone in that look. So first, I'm going to start with the gamma, and this is all just kind of messing around and seeing what looks good. Bring the gamma all the way up, realize that might be too much, bring it all the way down, and you might be surprised on what you actually find looks good. So for this one, this scene was supposed to be a little bit of a dramatic scene, so I'm going to kind of try to get that drama out of it. That contrast. Shadows, maybe bring it up a little bit. And then also I want to bring down that color just a little bit. Take some of that out, bring out that drama. Okay, that's looking pretty good. One thing I do like to do in my grades is actually take this mid detail and bring it down. And what that is it's pretty much the detail in the shots. If you bring it all the way down, all the details smooth out. If you bring it all the way up, it enhances the detail and the clarity. But for something like this, I'd rather bring it down, and I'm gonna bring it down to probably negative, I usually like it around negative 20 to 40 in that range, but I'm gonna stick to around negative 30. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so now that we have that done, I'm gonna move over to the color and really mess with the color in the color wheels. And I'm gonna go to each one of these and then dial in my look. So I'm gonna start with the lift, kind of see what I like. It kind of looks pretty good towards the greenish blue. So I'm gonna do that. Gamma, which is more the shadows. I'm kind of liking it more towards the orange-red. Okay, the gain, which is the highlights. And this is affecting a lot of his skin tone and the shirt. So I could actually push this to be, it helps bring out the skin tone, so maybe push it a little bit towards the reddish magenta look. And the offset is kind of everything, so this is the overall, and I kind of like it a little bit cooler, considering that this was supposed to be a little bit of a down scene, dramatic, something like that. And I can even come up here to the temps and kind of help play in the look of that as well. So I can bring it a little bit cooler, bring a little bit more green. And overall, I think this is pretty good. I could sit here for hours and just mess with it, and I probably will. But this is something quick and kind of just to show you the process that I go through. But yeah, that's just a quick demonstration of my color grading process and kind of what I like to do in a nutshell. And if there's things in DaVinci that you do that I didn't mention that you think that would be cool, leave it down in the comments. That's all I have for you. I appreciate you guys watching it. If you want, like, comment, maybe subscribe. That'd be pretty cool. Just gonna say. But thank you for watching, and just so you know, I appreciate you, I love you, and I will see you in the next video.